All right, I see folks popping into our meeting. Welcome. I'm Lori Zimmerman, the Director of Professional Learning with MASA, and we are so happy to see 16 of you here with us today. If you are able to turn your cameras on, we'd love to see your faces as we start the meeting. I just know it's a little bit easier to talk to people as opposed to the screen. We also understand that you might be in the middle of something or be called to something and need to shut things off for a minute, and that's fine too. I am really excited to welcome our presenters here today. Catherine reached out a little bit ago to say, hey, we have this opportunity that might help with some of your recruitment and retention issues. Is hiring a problem in Minnesota? Like, yes, I would love to hear more from you. And via our conversation, I thought it was something that would be really helpful for all of you in school districts to hear. So we are excited today to welcome Justin Remo. Justin is the general manager at Wagestream, a provider of financial well-being to frontline workers, and has worked in a variety of financial, media, technology sectors. And he is with us to share today. And Catherine Friedman is the program manager at Frontline Education, working with strategic partnerships in K-12 school districts. So without further ado from me, I'm going to turn it over to Catherine and Justin.
Thank you so much, Lori. Hi, everyone. I'm Catherine. I'm so happy to be here. Welcome to our webinar that is Recruitment Trends in K-12, the Power of Flexible Pay, sponsored by Frontline Education, and really excited to have our partners at Wagestream join us too. As you might know, just a little bit about Frontline Education in case you don't know, we've been serving K-12 districts since 1998, so a while now, empowering strategic K-12 leaders with school administration software. So really excited to talk about the newest recruitment trend in K-12, flexible pay. And thank you, Lori, Dave, and MASA just for the opportunity to speak and meet some of your members. And thank you everyone on the call for taking the time to talk today. Here's just our faces in case you need to see them again. I am Catherine, Program Manager at Frontline Education, and this is Justin, our General Manager for the US at Wagestream, who will talk to us in just a little bit. If you guys want to use the chat and let me know what's your titles, like where are you guys coming from, you want to share your district, I would love just to see that come through as we're talking. And in the meantime, I will talk through our agenda today. First, we are going to talk a little bit about the teacher shortage, the state of financial well-being in the US, impact on school districts, competition in the labor market, and financial well-being considerations. We will have a Q&A at the end, so feel free to use the chat throughout. You can private message me or send it to everybody, and we'll get to that at the end. Perfect. And thanks for putting some info in the chat here. I see some superintendents. Hello, Kevin, John, Brad, I see you, and I appreciate you participating today. All righty, so first, I'd like to frame today's conversation on just kind of why are we here? So if you look at this visual, you're seeing a ton of headlines, which I'm sure you've been reading over the past few years. It's staff shortages, teacher shortages. So it is just no secret that districts around the country are having a staff shortage. But there wasn't a ton of data for the root cause of this, other than just speculation of mass exodus of the field. You know, no one wants to come to K-12, but Frontline is a leader in teacher and substitute recruitment solutions. We wanted to try to understand a bit more about that root cause. Next slide, please. So what we did to kind of learn a bit more is we turned to the Frontline Research and Learning Institute to publish a two-part series detailing the national trends of the staff shortage. And for some context, if you don't know, the Frontline Research and Learning Institute is our research arm that provides resources and observations to support the educational community. It's comprised of experienced academia leaders across K-12, and we conduct various research to support the community. But back to that report I was talking about, the teacher shortage report. The analysis investigates the quantity of candidates applying for jobs, so the supply, as well as the availability of open positions. And we looked at some averages with data across 1,400 school districts representing 48 states. And just wanted to show you a quick preview of that if we can move to the next slide. So data from the Frontline Research and Learning Institute points to a statistically significant decrease in teacher candidate supply over the past few years. So looking at this chart here, what we are seeing is this is the average number of applicant per teacher job postings over the past 5 years. And so you'll say each color represents a different year of trend. So at the top, 2018 is in pink and 2022 in the purple color at the bottom. And it really is showing, you can see year over year, a consistent decline in applicants each year, with the exception of March 2020, right after the emergency declaration, you'll see that spike and then drop in that dark blue across. But if we zoom out, overall, the trends from our report show that both supply and demand have contributed to this labor shortage, but the decline in candidates is more pronounced than the increase of available jobs. So, but do keep in mind, these are all average nationwide results with these trends. And so we understand your individual districts might see different results, but this is zooming out big picture averages. But really the takeaway from this is the nationwide analysis is that the shortage is primarily a result of fewer individuals looking to fill positions in K-12. Next slide. So we work with districts all day, and we know that districts are looking for ways to become a destination district. And how do we attract and retain more teachers to your district, just to the workforce in general? And we believe, to effectively recruit, hire, and retain quality educators in the 21st century, recruiting efforts must evolve and start to match modern day employees' needs and preferences. And the commercial space has already been doing this. They have felt these pains for many, many years, and they've been taking actionable steps towards new recruiting and hiring practices. So this is all framing why we're here today. We're here because we believe it's valuable to review the best practices of the benefits that are offered to employees in the commercial space, and consider if they may assist our school districts with the same objectives. So that is why we're here. So I am excited to introduce Wagestream, who is going to share just more research and their findings on why financial well-being and flexible pay is a key benefit to make an employer a destination. So welcome, Justin. I will pass you the mic.
All right, thank you, Catherine, and everybody, thank you for having me here today. I'm so excited to share with you some of our research on the U.S. employee and financial well-being. But before I dive into that, let me tell you a little bit about Wagestream. Wagestream was founded to fight the poverty premium by creating fairer financial services for all frontline workers. A couple things I want to unpack about this mission statement as they go to the core of what we're trying to achieve. The first thing is Wagestream uses the term frontline workers to describe employees who are on the front line of labor every day. So think about hospitality workers or healthcare workers, manufacturing workers, and of course, educators. Now, I mentioned the poverty premium. This is really what our company is set out to fix. And the poverty premium, we describe it as the extra cost that lower income households pay for essential services like banking or energy, loans, credit, insurance. We found that in less affluent areas in the US, families pay hundreds of dollars more than affluent families pay to access these same basic essentials. And we think that we have a formula to fix this. Take, for example, overdraft fees or late fees. Frequently, we see frontline workers overdrafting bank accounts just so they can get to work and pay for their transportation. Overdraft fees can be upwards of $30 per occurrence, and they can also be levied multiple times a day. And this is exactly the premium we talk about when describing the poverty premium. Another really interesting example, the Institute for Fiscal Studies found that the inflation rate, so we all know that inflation's been a fairly big problem in the last year. But what we found is that the inflation rate faced by the lowest income tenth was on average 14% compared to 9% for the highest income tenth. Again, this is the poverty premium showing itself in a different way. And it's really impacting the commercial workforce, and we know that it is impacting the educational workforce as well. So let me go to the next slide here and talk a little bit more about what employees are facing and how it impacts school districts. So we partnered with UC Berkeley and Harvard to study the state of US employees. And here are some of the things that we uncovered. Almost half of US households have less than $300 saved for an emergency. That means if their car breaks down or a refrigerator dies, the household is in an automatic financial emergency. We found that almost 3/4 of employees have never received financial education. And this leads to people not feeling confident about money management. And finally, 22% of US workers run out of money before payday. This is really due to that fixed pay schedule, and something that our first product we ever launched into market helps address. These stats are really especially impactful for me. My mother was a high school teacher in New Jersey for 25 years. And looking back, I saw a lot of these firsthand growing up. In fact, the cost of financial stress. So this is really interesting. We just finished our FinWell conference, where we bring a bunch of our clients together for a conference. And this stat was thrown out by our head of impact. And I thought it was really interesting to share. And it's really what the cost of this financial stress is on your workforce. And the cost is 13. And this isn't measured in dollars. It's not measured in days of work, days missed of work. It's actually IQ points. So in the study, we uncovered that when people are giving over their cognitive capacity to worrying about money, this is the impact. It's 13 IQ points. And by offering financial well-being, companies can increase IQ points by 13 points to their workforce overnight. So what we wanted to do here is give you an idea of what a holistic financial well-being solution looks like, right? And, on the last slide, I really focused on the poverty premium and how it shows itself to the frontline workers and your workforce, right? And now I really want to show how each one of these parts of the solution addresses the impact that we showed on the last slide. So the first one here as part of the solution is what we call a track feature, right? And this provides the ability for the user to track their earnings in real time after they complete work for a day. So inside your financial well-being solution, when a salaried user completes a day, or an hourly user clocks in and out, what the solution will go ahead and do is show what they earned for that day. And this, we find that users use it for budgeting and feeling more confident about managing their money. I can speak from our solution that this feature is visited on average 4 times a day. The next feature you should look at is earned wage access, or it might also go by the name of flexible pay. This allows users to access their earnings before payday. And this is really aimed at helping users manage those financial emergencies, right? So I mentioned, hey, someone's refrigerator breaks and they need an extra $200 to get that refrigerator replaced, but they're not going to get paid for another 5 days. They can go and access earnings that are earned but not yet paid through this feature. We also see by use of this feature that people are more apt to pick up extra shifts and jobs because they know that after they complete that job, they can get paid immediately. Save, pretty self-explanatory. This is really going to helping users save more than that $300 figure I mentioned on the last slide. However, there's 2 things I really want to point out here, which makes these savings accounts very special. One is there's no minimum. And so if someone wants to come in and start saving $5, the financial well-being solution should allow that. And then I think more importantly is these are self-directed savings. And what I mean by that is you don't have to walk into a bank manager to open up this savings account, right? We find that a lot of people are embarrassed to walk in and say, hey, I want to open a savings account. I have $20. And by offering it through a mobile app, through a financial well-being solution, it takes that stigma away. And we find that users start saving, and they'll start saving with $5 or $10, and they'll eventually build that savings pot up. And finally, there should be some type of learning or insights feature in the solution. And this really goes to educating the users on making really sound financial choices. So I know Catherine mentioned that many companies in the commercial space are offering a solution like this to their workforce. When we were starting to do some research, even for this presentation, I found that six out of the top 10 U.S. employers are offering a financial well-being benefit already. Also, through our research and data, we see that the three most frequent sources of secondary income, McDonald's, Target, and Uber, they also offer a financial well-being solution. And so we know that a lot of the educators, right, they have choice in the marketplace. And right now, school districts are competing for their services, but they're competing against the commercial sector that have these type of benefits that users want. So I thought I'd take a little bit of time here and just go through some considerations that you should make when rolling out financial well-being or selecting a provider. First and most importantly is, what is the employee cost, right? And I can tell you that there are numerous models out there where there's a paid model, there's free models, right? But I think the most important thing here to consider is, when you roll out and select a provider, you should have at least one free option. And if there is a paid option, the provider should cap the amount of paid transactions a user can make. The cost to the school district, second consideration. It should be absolutely free to the district, and you should have no impact on your operating cash flows. I can tell you very confidently that there's no commercial companies in the U.S. right now that incur a fee to roll out financial well-being. It is free to those companies. It should be free to the school district. Implementation. So of course, to run a service like this, there has to be integrations into some of the school district systems. They should be pre-built and really easy to implement, and it should have minimal impact on your staff. Number 4, really important, is adoption. If we're rolling out a benefit and no one adopts it, you guys aren't going to get any of the benefit of rolling it out. So when selecting a provider, you want to see really good credentials, that they know how to drive strong adoption across your school district. And that usually comes in the form of a strong communications package and a methodology to really help drive that awareness and enrollments. And then finally, support, right? So when a solution like this is rolled out, the school district, you guys don't want people coming to you and asking you questions about the service, right? And adding work to your plate. So the provider of the financial well-being solution should have end user support built into the solution, and that it should also be manned with human beings on the back end there that are answering these questions. And then here I want to go over a couple things here. We surveyed a sliver of our own user base here who use our financial well-being solution. And I just wanted to highlight a couple numbers here because I think they're pretty powerful. Almost a quarter of our users use earned wage access or flexible pay to get to work. So this goes directly to that transportation example we gave you at the beginning of the presentation. And we see that shown in the data here that that's what users are doing with these earned wage access advances. 70% of users use it to pay a bill or make needed purchases like groceries. And this is a really powerful stat because it really shows them using it for those emergency situations or just to put food on the table. And then 20% use it instead of a credit card. Again, this goes to those fees that we were talking about in the poverty premium. So instead of going and putting your transportation on a credit card and rolling over a balance, they're using their earned wages to pay for that transportation immediately. And finally, just a couple of highlights from our partnership with Frontline. So today, we have rolled out our solution to substitute teachers, and we are offering financial well-being benefits to 50,000 substitutes working across 3,000 districts. Our collaboration has won 3 EdTech awards, with the most recent being awarded in September. You can see here what some of the districts and substitutes are saying. This is a big game changer for me. It made it so much easier for me financially. And so we're really proud of what we put together here in the collaboration, and we are really looking to expanding the scope of what we're offering and go beyond substitute teachers and be able to offer it to all staff and educators. So I hope this was informative and has given you a new perspective on some of the challenges that your workforce is experiencing. And then also shown here how financial well-being solution can be an innovative way to solve some of their challenges. So I'll open it up for questions and see if anybody has anything.
I've never been accused of being shy. Here's my question. Where does the money come from to get advanced?
Yeah.
Is it a district off the district books, or is there a fund and then it gets reconciled at the end of the month?
That's a great question, Kevin. So the Wagestream funds all the transfers prior to payday. So it's very important that, a financial well-being solution, when you're looking at it, it does not impact the school district's cash flows or payroll. And so we have a funding source where if anybody needs to take out money before payday, Wagestream does that transfer, and then it gets settled back to Wagestream on payday. Other questions?
I have a question in here. Does Wagestream have any hard numbers around recruitment and retention?
So we actually have done studies with our current customer base. So let me start with recruiting. So we have done tests with some of our clients where they would put job postings on Indeed. And we did an A/B test. So one of the job postings for the same job was just their regular job posting. And then the second job posting B, we mentioned flexible pay and Wagestream. And we found that the job posting that mentioned Wagestream and or flexible pay was 27%, performed 27% better and led to candidates applying 7% more on that job posting. On retention, we do the same thing. This is something that we work closely with our clients on to see how this benefit is impacting the retention. And generally what we see is a 16 to 20% improvement in retention. Some clients we see even more with the higher adoption and depending on sector, but on average, it's that 16 to 20% retention improvement.
Any other questions? You can unmute or use the chat. We got some time. I see another question here. What does this look like to staff? I guess from the staff point of view, and does every staff member have to use it if that's in their district?
So that's a great question. This service is totally opt-in, meaning that the entire school district does not have to use it. So, and that's the same in the commercial space as well. So basically there'll be communications out to the school district employees, right? To say, hey, we're offering this benefit. If someone wants to use the benefit, they would enroll in Wagestream, and only the people who enroll would have to use it. What does this look like to an educator? It would look like a mobile app. So there would be a Wagestream mobile app that they would download, and then you would actually see, these exact screens inside the app. So as that teacher worked, they would see that their earnings come in per day here. This is where they would make a transfer, and then here they would be doing savings. So it would be in the form of an app that they would download.
Question here, how do you know how much to pay them? And how does that work in terms of how much they get and when?
That's good. So one of the things we do when we roll out the system with the school district is we get access to what they would get paid, and basically what Wagestream does is we give them access to 40% of their gross earnings for that day. So if somebody was making, I'll just make the math easy for me. If they were making $100 a day, right, we would give them a balance to transfer of $40, and that balance accumulates throughout the pay period. And then once the payday hits, that balance goes down to zero because you have gotten paid for that period. Good questions.
And there was a question in the chat, is it only for substitutes? And Anurag also at Wagestream chimed in saying it was also for all employees, but maybe Justin, if you can give more context of maybe what that would look like in terms of work for the district.
Yeah, so right now we have this rolled out for substitutes. And like I said, we are working with school districts to roll it out to all employees. And so if any districts are interested in rolling out for our employees, right, they get into contact with me or Catherine, and we can expand this offering to go beyond subs to all your educators at the district. Anything else in the chat? I can't pull up the chat for some reason, or else I can look.
Nope, you're all good. All right, I think we can wrap up then, Justin, if you want to hop to our last slide here. Included a fun little QR code if you have your phone on you and you want to scan, but I'll also put some info in the chat here. This is just more information about financial well-being, how you can help use it to make you a destination district. We have a form at the bottom you can fill out, or email Justin or me. I put it in the chat here. But thank you again to Lori, Dave, MASA for having us today. And I hope to hear from you all soon.
Thank you so much, Catherine. We really appreciate you and Justin making time to share information about a service that could perhaps be of interest to districts and their employees. So we just really appreciate it and appreciate the opportunity to have your contact information. This session has been recorded, so if you want to share the information with anybody else on your business team, Dave will have that ready for you in the next few days. And we just appreciate everybody's time.
Thank you. Have a good day, everyone.
Take care.
You too. Thank you.